Grimstroke comes out. Do you remember we were talking about when you have the Ember with the Inkswell on top of him last game
Oh yeah.
in the draft? It's the same thing again. Like, Boom's really good at this hero as well. He's played a lot of it.
Only 10 seconds.
I like it. I like this Ember pick here. Vikings actually swapping captains mid-draft, so Celery passes it back to Aramis.
What? Yeah, she has, you're right.
Yeah. Just noticed that. All right, so they just swapped.
Are they all just taking turns to pick a hero?
Could be.
I watched the Viking game once.
They actually might have been doing it all along, just in like, pick your hero, and we'll just adapt.
I'm wondering what they're going to pick here on Empire. So they should be able to flex the Tiny to a last pick if they pick their position 1 here. But they have...
Well,
I guess they have Raw.
Yeah, you've got
lockdown, but...
Yeah, you've got single target lockdown, you've got attack speed. You want a physical damage dealer, but who? You also would like to have some kind of magical damage. You might not want to have that nice almost 50-50 balance of both magical and physical, so you don't get countered by a singular item. Like we saw last game, Underlord really wanted to build that Crimson Guard. If you're full physical, it is a huge nerf your team. And that is pure physical damage right there. So we've got Drow with Beast. Bit of a squishy hero, but a glass cannon in a sense. So if Drow can hit people, that's great. Problem is there's an Ember Spirit who will just come right next to you or keep distance with the Searing Chains and the Slate.
Well, so this matchup goes both ways between Drow and Ember. Like, they can kill each other.
Agreed.
5 seconds.
But he's probably going to go Yules first to get rid of the Gust. And like, it's really good against Avalanche Toss as well, because if he initiates with Avalanche and you get the Yules off on yourself before he tosses, it stops so much of the damage coming through. Yeah, like you say, Ember could get on top of Drow, but with Gust, they don't have a great way of gap closing without the Ember at the moment.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of pressure on Boom to get on top of the Drow.
5 seconds. Hurry.
I will say this Drow Ench lane sounds really strong as well, up against Underlord Rubik.
Yeah, Rubik has damage output, but Underlord really can't get close to 2 range heroes being a melee. So that will be a difficulty.
They're going to cover their Drow pick as well with the 2, the PL and the Spectre bans. I'm trying to think of other carry heroes that offer the same amount of gap close to get on top of the Drow, because I don't think you want to be so reliant on the Ember just as your only hero. I also think I agree with what Viking have done here. I think it's going to be a tiny mid, and they're going to pick a different position for here with the Beastmaster, like some range poke hero. They have no team fight at the moment, which is a bit of a worry. I'd like to see them potentially pick this Willow. I talked about it last series a little bit.
10 seconds.
What else offers team fight from 4? There's not a huge amount.
Yeah, I'm also just looking at their laning duos, because Beast and Tiny as a duo, now that Invoker is coming in, Invoker could still be a 4. Though I highly doubt you would see a lot of Invo 4 in high-end games these days.
Nice.
And CK can deal with Beast and Tiny's damage output. So you go melee up melee, that's a mid-Invoker. And a carry Drow.
I actually thought they were going to pick Night Stalker, I'll be honest, because it's something they've run recently, this carry Night Stalker. But they go for the CK instead, which has started to gain a little bit more popularity recently. People have been working with it a little bit more. It was dead for ages. Like, people were never picking it. And it's kind of started to poke its head in, through the door a little bit, which is nice to see.
Wait, where's my draft bugged like that? Hang on. There we go. That's better.
CK Grimstroke is absolutely terrifying to play against. This Sunlight Invoker needs to have a much better laning stage this time, but it's also a lot of pressure on him this game, I think, to get the good tornadoes off, to set up for kills, purge off Inkswells. I think if Sunlight doesn't have a good game, I think Empire's draft will struggle, which is a lot of pressure on Sunlight. How do Tiny and Beastmaster lane against CK Grimstroke? I actually just don't know. Because they should just be able to kill the boar by getting on top of it really easily with the... Is it Reality Rift, I think it's called?
Yeah. Yeah, pull the boar.
They have
Rift.
Stroke of Fate as well.
Yeah, I can see the Inkswell into Reality Rift combo work out so well for closing in gaps.
Wow!
But we'll see. I think there's a really big impact on how Drow gets his lane to work out. How long does Drow need to get online? Or do Viking GG just overstat them? Because Underlord Strength Hero, CK Strength Hero, both go frontline, and Ember Spirit, all he needs to do is... Where is the Drow? Where's the Drow? Just go there, control, damage, kill him.
Oh, it looks like he's going to play Crossflex Invoker as well. Okay. That's interesting to me. I thought he was going to play Cross Exhort. Because he has good Sunstrike setups with the Tiny and the Beastmaster.
I wouldn't go Exhort because that will slow you down. You're really kind of like forced to go into a Midas, which I don't think you want to go Midas here because Drow is already a greedy hero. Has always been a greedy hero in my eyes, at least. So if you have like an Exhort Invoker, of course you get more damage out of it, but don't you already have like quite a lot of damage? Drow, Tiny, and Beast?
Yeah, you do, and obviously the Drow is going to help with the Evoker's damage, but I also think at the same time you don't have to go Minus or top lane as well. Celery's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah. Boss coming in. Look at a Fairy Fire and some Tangos, but body blocks from Tiny, that should do it. First Blood. The Ops Ward actually placed by Empire isn't even blocking the easy camp. But they are thinking that it's either here or they put a lane ward, as you can see that they're pinging, but they should catch it with just one sentry. Celery, where do you put it down? Yep. Yep. Easy D ward.
Nice little boost of XP for them in this lane as well, which they obviously fell behind on a little bit because of the First Blood, so Boom has to do really well in this mid lane at like the early levels before Tornado comes online. And I'd be interested to see what skill build he goes for as well. Obviously, relying on Flame Guard in this lane up against Tornado is a little bit of a worry. And you see this already in the bot lane. The Rubik and the Underlord, they're just shoving the lane in on top of the Drow.
Yeah, they definitely want to keep as much pressure as they can on this Drow.
Look at them blocking the camps against the Ench.
Yeah. Camps for you. Eknart's leaving the lane. Drow's got his lane pushed in, so Lightless should be fine for now. Meanwhile, in top, Shaklo might be a kill here. Celery's Courier does go down. The stun does connect. Fairy Fire, use 2-second stun. Deliver the slap. There we go.
How did his Courier die? Because it didn't say what killed it. So was it just the creeps?
It was just the creeps, I guess.
No.
Maybe a... yeah, it wasn't even the boar that sniped it. That would have been a Beastmaster getting a kill for it.
Have you seen what the Tiny's doing here as well? Pulling the wave all the way around. Nothing crazy. But...
Nothing crazy, but efficiency. Like, all the small things matter. It's still pretty tied. 6 versus 8. Tornado is up. Boom's put 2 points in Slate. Break the salve.
Nice.
Still Invoker will still regenerate pretty decent with the Quas points. I think it's important to keep up that pressure because like if you're going up against the Quaswex Invoker, I think the biggest part is either you constantly harass without like giving a break, because as soon as you stop that, your Invoker is just gonna out regenerate the damage output that you get dealt on. And I think that escalates also, like, if we see the 4-minute runes, if there's going to be activity in the river, the port's rotating in, and the Invoker's like half HP. Ember still has a very good nuke if he hits like level 3 on his Slate of Fist, so that means that he's 5. He's 4 right now.
This Beastmaster has 4 CS, by the way. He's really struggling. Like, but this is... I don't know what this Tiny's supposed... This is why I thought they were going to put the Tiny as the mid.
Does he? Oh, look at that. The Seiyu really struggling with this pull. Celery just threw his Stroke of Fate into the camp to get the aggro, and he was just close enough so that the creeps actually went on that. And there's action happening. Rubik gets killed under his own tower by Eknart. I missed that completely.
I mean, this is the power of the Ench, though. This hero just wins lanes by itself. So even though their other two lanes aren't going massively well, this Ench just should, like, at least help secure the Drow's farm for a little while. The problem is going to be that can they bully the Underlord for long enough that it stops him from just pushing this lane out over and over again at the moment, which is, you see, like, what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
And she's trying to be a little bit more greedy about just going to jungle and get creeps and things, because she wants the Drow to get solo XP, to get that level 6 online as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Now we see the supports moving in. Seiyu coming in with a smoke, walking straight to Boom. There's the cold snap. That should be an Ember kill. Pretty big for Sunlight if it actually happens. Ooh. Regen, Tornado in the air. Flame Guard is removed. Sunlight takes the regen for himself. Ember still trying to make a run for it. 130 HP. Here comes Aramis. Tosses Tiny under the tower. And Boom will survive. And Lightless with Eknard find a kill on Toby because there is no support to help you here. As soon as Aramis leaves, Empire makes a move in bottom. Really good read.
Honestly, I think even if Aramis was there, I think they still have the potential to kill now. Because this, like, Drow's level 4 now, 2 points in Frost Towers and 2 points in multi-shot. She does so much damage. You have to be really worried about this hero now. And I think she's going to go Frost Towers at 5. And this Underlord is going to really struggle to come back to lane then. Like, look at the level difference between the two of them right now. It's crazy.
Third point. Yep, third point arrows. Chad's courier also killed by Shaklo. Well, yeah, they're killing couriers. They're finally getting some CIS on the Beastmaster. Also getting control of bounty runes. 3 out of 4. This is a much better looking Empire than compared to game 1. Already from the first 5 minutes, I can feel it. I can feel it, MoFarah.
They're playing well. My only worry for them at the moment is this Tiny still level 2. He's just hit level 2 at 5 minutes into the game. So they're going to be very reliant on their cores being the ones that make the plays across the map, because the Tiny won't have the playmaking potential.
Oh, but that's calculated. When your opponent has smaller muscles than you, Tiny doesn't need to be bigger either.
True. Very true.
Promise. Getting slowed up again. Eknard. He's actually picked up a Vul Assassin. These have a very high right-click output. Very nasty camp to clear sometimes. Stun on Shaklo. Celery following it up with the Inkswell on Shad. Beast in trouble. And there we go. That's a kill. Also, Aramis getting killed by Eknard. And Toby is left alone. So Lightless. Frost Arrows. 176 movement speed for the Underlord. But Eknard's now actually pulling the creep wave. He has to back away. So Underlord will live. But it's a 1-for-1. An important one for Viking GG to get the Beastmaster out of the way.
Again, with this catapult. Oh, he has a net creep on the Underlord. He's gonna get him.
Oh, look at that. Eknard absolutely on fire. Seiyu comes in, lifted away, but the slow is too much for him to deal with. Toss in the air, and a kill for the Drow. 6-2 for Empire.
The Underlord tried to TP back to the tier 1, but Rubik had already started TPing. So his TP was really long. Top lane as well. Shashlo in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, it's a return kill. Revenge.
So, I mean, that TP would have been fine on the Underlord if the Ench didn't get a stun creep, or probably only a net creep because he needed the range. Like, you saw the Drow started walking away because she didn't realize that the TP was going to be long.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the net lands, they're like, oh, they messed up.
CS is also very tight in mid. Sunlight actually has an advantage over Ember Spirit now. So 33 and 3 versus 38 and 13 denies on the info. And only, yeah, he's got 2 points in Flame Guard for a good reason. Hasn't actually leveled up Chains yet, so that does mean that Boom wants to continue farming instead of fighting.
Yeah, I imagine he keeps 2 points in Flame Guard and then maxes Chains out after Sly. Yeah. Would be my assumption. But.
Yeah, that would be a go-to build. Might be that he only picks up 1 point in Chains and just maxes out Flame Guard, but we'll see. He's maxed out Slate now at level 7, as intended.
I think they need the catch more than the wave clear this game, and like the farming potential. Unless they feel like they can't fight early on and they just want to extend the game.
Boom's baiting. He actually TP's right under. Has a ward that has already located Enchantress, but not sure if they saw. Well, Rubik is coming in from the back. And the initiation also coming out from Seiyu, and Aramis is suddenly surrounded by not only Invo and his supports, but also Lightless walks in. Drow picks up his 3rd kill.
I mean, the big worry for Radiant at the moment is this Beastmaster hasn't even hit level 5 yet, even though he's been by himself a lot of the time. So they just need to make sure that this Beastmaster gets some levels so they can play off the Raw. Because then he's going to hit level 6 at the same time he gets his Necro 1, right? Ideally.
Yeah.
And then they can actually make plays. Like, the Drow can come and play with the Beastmaster at that point.
A lot of movement coming at the top, so we have 3 versus 3 here. Potential for the next fight. Eknard's already got a Medallion of Courage on your pos 5. Not bad. Really want to benefit from that physical damage output. Just destroy the supports and then go from there. I think that's like the most crucial part here with so much nuke damage on both sides. Is if Empire can destroy Viking GG's supports before Viking's frontliner heroes blow up the Drow Ranger, but right now Drow is just having the time of her life. Kobe TP's away with low HP. Eknard goes down. Celery picks up that streak. And suddenly Sunlight is actually between several heroes, but Shaklo, if only you had Roar. Sunlight actually kills Aramis there at the same time, and Celery in trouble. Celery's gonna die too. Double kill for the Invoker.
Fade from memory.
That TP had like 0.2 seconds left or something. That was really close.
That is just the damage output is just too much for these supports to deal with. And Seiyu will spot Boom, but Boom is already there before just before the bounty spawn, so doesn't actually toss him in the air, steal the bounty, and then turn around. Instead, he's gonna go for an action rune. And won't even get that because it's on the other side of the river. It's an arcane too. All snapped up. Decent damage output. Sunlight, he doesn't miss a single shot on high ground. That's rigged.
Boom's gonna have to go all the way back to base just to
Radiant's bottom tower under fire.
get his bottle refilled, but he doesn't have the mana for TP, which is a bit of a worry. I like this Drow rotation though. They want to play with the catapult wave mid.
They're
and you see
all
the
here.
Beastmasters come over as well.
They're all here.
He's just at level 6.
All 5 heroes in mid right now. Viking GG with 3. Underlord pushing bottom. Got CK farming in top. Empire looking to take the mid tier 1 tower. Already got the tornado set up here to give a bit of vision and a tiny bit of damage and slow here. Especially onto this Rubik. Keep him out of way.
Cool, that stroke. They're doing a really good job of keeping the tower alive with the Fade bot on the stroke though.
Yep.
They're trying their hardest to just push the wave out as much as they can.
Problem is they know exactly where Tiny is. They're going to have to forfeit this tower.
Top tower is under siege.
But there was a lot of resources committed because the top tower is going down. Phantasm used by Shad. And Underlord almost finished off the bottom
have
tower.
Roar.
TP's coming in though. Shad gets the tower. Jacklo's there. Seiyu also trying to make a move on him. Stun coming out. Sunlight coming in with a tornado. And they've got everything to use. The Roar will be thrown onto Shad too. This CK has nowhere to run. And he dies with his Midas just coming off cooldown.
I've never seen an avalanche on a CK trying a reality rift before, and that made me laugh more than it should have. That was entertaining.
Radiant's
And they're taking the bot tier 1 though at the same time on Viking. So yes, they lose the CK top, but he gets the tower before he dies, and he's
Yes.
having a really nice game. Like he's got Midas. So yes, it's off cooldown, which is unfortunate, but
bottom tower
like he's the most farmed hero in the game.
And
This game, although
yeah.
it's gone much better for Empire, I don't know if it's going well enough for them. Because I think they have to be winning this early game with the lineup that they have. Because the longer this game goes on, the stronger and stronger the CK is going to get. And they don't really have ways of dealing with the illusions. And when he
That
pops
is
Phantasm
true.
in fights, he's going to go crazy.
Interesting moves here. Grimstroke actually half HP. Lightless still throwing in some hits with the Alacrity. And surprising to see also that Invoker's had a
Top lane as
decent
well.
early game, that he is actually going for a Midas on this Invoker. Chad doesn't quite spot one hero. Eknard TPing home. Shaklo still in the trees, and Tiny's also out. Tiny actually working on a Blink Dagger now, 900 gold in.
Okay, so this Midas is like, I think in an ideal world, he probably wouldn't go for it. But I think Sunlight's read on the game is that this game isn't going well enough for me to not go Midas. I think we have to have the scaling potential is probably what he's thinking. So that if we don't scale, we're not going to win the game. Because we're just going to fall further and further behind. Because he sees the CK's got Midas as well.
Yeah. Remember when Midas was an F tier item?
Yes, yes I do. And then they made it like 100 gold cheaper.
Yeah.
That was it.
What would you grade it? Would you give it a B, an A, or an S now?
See, I think Midas
Well,
is
we'll
really
see.
difficult.
Boom actually gets roared up in top. They got the gust slow. Do they have the damage output for it? Tossed into the air. Yeah. Calculated with the toss to wait until the silence is almost over to get a few extra hits in.
Yeah, I mean, Boom's really struggling with net worth this game, but they are going to get this top tier 1 here on the Radiant side. Yeah,
But
talking about
Midas.
Midas again quickly then. I feel like Midas is really difficult to judge because there's some games where it's really good and there's some games where it's just, you can't afford to go Midas.
Tower has fallen.
So it's definitely not an S tier item. It's not your always go-to
No.
item.
It's definitely a good item, but you can't build it every single game.
Yeah. Bit of
Arcane Rune's small spot.
farming action going here with double ancient stacks now for Shad. Pop this Phantasm. Farming those up. Toby. There's the Crimson Guard coming after the Yules. They are countering the physical damage output with it. Hard to have it on your offlaner, especially since Underlord can become one of those really hard targets to take down. And CK just wants HP and damage. HP is the biggest thing for Viking GG this game. They can outlast fights. Empire will run out of firepower. They do more damage, you make more HP.
If they can kill the Drow, they lack damage output on the Radiant side. But I think as long as the Drow's alive, they're probably not massively worried. The big thing is with this Midas on the CK, he's almost 2 levels ahead of the Drow.
Sunlight.
Like,
He
he's having
spots
a
Celery,
really
he
good
spots
game.
Boom, and they actually got an idea because the Sentry Ward down on the ground and Celery will be spotted. The Lightless will finally get those hits in. It's the end of the Grimstroke. We're trying to buy some time here for Sunlight as Shaklo is trying to find someone in the trees. Actually, they were still scouting for the Ember who jumped in the trees. Interesting setup there. But they get the support out of the way, nevertheless.
The Empire really need this Tiny to get Blink now. They need the instant initiation in fights. That's the big thing for them. Like, when he gets this Blink online, they can just instantly burst these 2 supports, right? Every single fight. Which is, I think killing the Grimstroke especially is the most important thing for Empire. Because he enables the CK and Ember so much with the Ink Swell.
Invoker dropping the spicy meatball into the mid lane. Push that wave out. They're waiting.
Empire want to keep controlling this top half of the map as well because they want to open up the Roach Pit relatively soon.
You can
So
see
that,
it.
like,
Tower taking damage.
ideally here, the players to take this top tier 2, be able to take the outpost before the 20-minute mark, then go into the Roach Pit afterwards, I think. But this Underlord keeps moving top to just push the wave out whenever wherever he's needed. But now they're controlling this bridge between the mid lane and the top lane. It's much more difficult for Viking to get over here to defend the tower.
Yeah.
Which is why you see
Tiny
the
actually
smoke
just
now.
finished his Blink Dagger, but he's all the way in the bottom lane. He's actually very far away from the rest of his team. And there's a Rubik now teleporting right behind Empire. They've got Lightless in the
Drow.
front line. The Drow is in a really awkward spot, and Lightless is down. They will already get 1 quick kill. Viking GG already happy with this, but they're definitely looking for more.
More about life, I think.
On the positive side, they didn't reveal the Tiny Blink yet because he is not coming. Shaklo, maybe TP home.
And they're pinging him.
Fella? Boy, you've got a TP. No? Well, alright. Taking a sweet time. the Drow should never be in an awkward spot like that. That just all came apart. 4 versus 5 fight too.
Or they thought they had the control in the fight because they had the vision, so they didn't see them coming. Because they were smoked up, it made it really awkward.
That is also that really applies also to real life. When you feel you have control and you thought you've got the options, you know what you can do. But when somebody takes that away from you and you feel like, I'm getting manipulated here, and it's like, oh, man. Let's get lost in that track of thought. Now Invoker getting controlled. Stolen Avalanche from Maramis. Tossed into the hands of Shad. And the Invoker's gone. Interesting jump from Boom. That was his last remnant, too, so that might have been a misclick. So he can't get close enough. They can't slow down the Drow. That must have been a misclick from Boom.
And you see at the moment on Empire, like they have this small net worth lead that's just disappeared, but the XP advantage is actually 4,000 towards Viking. Because Empire's just been grouping up more, and the CK has a Midas, right? He got it really early on, so he's level 14 now. So every time this CK turns up to a fight, Empire have to run because they can't do anything to him.
Yep.
And the big reason why CK is starting to get picked now where it wasn't before is Phantasm has a 75-second cooldown, whereas I think it's like 120 before.
Beastmaster is really playing with this. He actually froze in the roar, and it's instantly stolen by Rubik. So Aramis, he's got his fingers ready. I don't know why he used that roar. There was no way Shaklo could actually escape. But now Aramis has a stolen roar from the Beastmaster, and that could be big for Viking GG. Depends how he uses it and where he uses it.
I think you want to kill the Invoker if you can. That's the big one in the fight. It's the Invoker or the Drow.
Seiyu goes in for a really risky play. They want to get Aramis out of the way. He's only got 200 HP remaining. Celery, there we go with the ulti coming out. Double roar connecting as well. Invoker and Drow both in trouble. Shad just throwing in the right clicks and Lightless trying to get out with the Hurricane Pike, but he gets brought back with the Reality Rift. Double kill for Shad on both the cores from Empire. And Viking GG, well, that was an attempt from Empire. They wanted to blow up the stolen roar Rubik. They couldn't. And oh boy, that double roar.
The Underlord was doing 291 bonus damage there with Attribute when he was hitting that tower. I don't know if you saw that was something. But yeah, insane double roar. You could see he was holding on to it. Aramis, I didn't even think about this when he stole the roar, but obviously they did. That's why they're playing and I'm here. But really well played. Yeah, getting that double roar onto the Invoker is the most important thing, though. Like, the +1's just a bonus. And I think it pushed the Ench away and stunned her up from the fight. So, Eknart, again, in a little bit of trouble here, potentially.
Yeah, and this could be a kill leading into Roche. Still 247 right-click from Toby. Toby gets the kill with it. So, there's a DD waiting in the bottom side of the river. There's no tier 1 to take. They could just finish off the tier 2 tower, but I would honestly go Roche here. Wait, Phantasm. Shaklo's been pulled back. Roar's available. Lightless goes in with the silence on Toby. Says a Sunstrike, giving a bit of vision there. That was actually a stolen Sunstrike that given to Rubik. So that wasn't even Invokers.
And this kill lead that they had on Empire for like, and they still do, is such an illusion, this game. Like, yeah, they were finding these kills, but with the lineup they have, like Drow Beastmaster, you need to be taking towers like non-stop, right? You want to get Roche really early on as well. So yes, they did okay early on, but they just didn't do enough. And now this CK is an absolute monster. Like, look at the net worth chart. He's like 4,000 ahead of it, like anybody else in the game.
Yep, that's
He has a Hyperstone.
That's like the if you quickly look at the net worth graph, that is the big waterfall. Toby. Crimson Guard, though. Very hard target. And Aramis come in time. He's got Sunstrike still stolen. 8-bolt. Right clicks. Come on. Come on. There we go. DD coming in. Boom is coming in with that fresh DD. Stolen Sunstrike damage onto Lightless. But Boom would just right-click that Drow down. And Drow is gone. Another tornado coming in from Aramis, actually holding the Tiny and the Invoker in place. Boom in trouble, though. He's surrounded by 3 Empire heroes, and Boom is dropping really low on HP. He gets that Yules just on time. He's got a Slate of Fist to keep himself alive. Just a bit longer. He dodges the root, but it's not going to be enough for him. And Boom is down. Aramis trying to go for the TP away with his Glimmer Cape. And he makes it out barely. But it's still a 2-for-1 trade. Drow is down. What do Empire do from here?
You can't fight without the CK there if you're Viking. I mean, that's pretty crazy. If you're Empire, you would really have liked to have gone Roche, but unfortunately, because your Drow's dead, you don't really have the damage output. So now they're just going to have to go back to dealing with their waves. Because like if you look bot lane, these Phantasm Illusions at the moment are just smashing this tier 2 down. He has AC coming on the CK now as well. Oh my god.
That's a thick boy.
He's level 18 as well.
He's level 18, yeah. That's almost double the levels as Beastmaster. He only just got his level 10 a while ago.
I was kind of hoping he'd go Scarly, but he's going Heart instead, which is, is okay. I just think the slow would have been really nice against the ranged heroes.
Yeah, I guess like Scotty's good for CK, but I think Heart is like your best item to go for in this hero.
Yeah. It's really good because you amp up your lifesteal as well.
Eknard actually pops the smoke off Rubik. Tornado. Oh, no need to hit the tornado.
I'll just go Roche.
No need to hit the tornado if you've still got Reality Rift. They're thinking about Roche. Might have faked their movements to walk into the pit. A lot of courier movement. Did we catch any of this? Strauss is in the trees. Strauss only got one piece towards BKB. That's the Ogre Club.
And even though when she gets BKB, guess what talent CK can take at 20? You know, like it doesn't help her.
Oh. Yep, that is good. Yes,
I mean,
BKB is not gonna save Drow this game. Can keep away from some of the crowd control.
Volker.
And Volker's in a very desperate fight against Toby. Toby's getting back up in just a few seconds, but so is also Sunlight. Toby low, web will be thrown. Shad coming in. Here goes the Phantasm. And there we go! Say you just deleted from the map. And Drow, you're alone once again, Lightless. You don't want to be there. You're gone. Double kill for Shad. And Viking GG are rocking it with style. You do not fight Toby in his own turf. It's a triple kill for Shad. Ignart's gone. Shackle trying to go for the runaway. And Sunlight, he can only observe.
Oh, left.
He's just going to observe from the high ground. This is going to be a 4th kill, no matter what.
Oh,
Ultra kill for Shad. Goodbye tier 2 tower.
There's something really cool about watching him reality rift a hero, and every single one of him and the illusions hits the target and they just die. Like 100-0.
Yeah. And Toby has a DD rune with 194 bonus damage. This Underlord is hitting for 450 right clicks. Like, Boom doesn't even need these DDs anymore. It's like, Toby, you can have it. I think you'll do more than I do.
Having a good time, you know?
Never refuse gold given.
Something I want to point out quickly as well. I really like Rubik's build this game where he skipped the level 10 talent. There's some games where you really need the HP, but like, there's so many good things he can steal this game that get amped up by Arcane Supremacy, like the Roars, the Avalanches and things.
Yeah.
Oh, this is really nice.
I wish he had the HP now. I think that Sunstrike would have still done a bit more damage than he would have actually withstand it. Now, Eknart, there's a roar coming in from Shaklo. They've got Boom held in place. Once again, the Phantasm used by the CK. There's a 2-man Yules with the ulti from Grimstroke, so they're holding them back. The Shadow will pull both of them backwards, and Eknart and Shaklo are both gone in just a matter of seconds. And there should go Drow, and there should also be going all of Empire's hopes to draw this series up. 3 heroes gone, 15,000 ahead is Viking GG. Now just
that
waiting
double
for
reality
the
rift was sick. It pulled them both into the pit of malice as well. That was awesome.
There's like when you see like Grimfroze's ult, you see the double Yules into double reality rift into the pit of malice. There's no going back from that.
Yeah, and
again,
they still can't do it with the CK.
Yeah, say was trying to pull the creep wave, but rolling
Toby
on.
just starts running into the radiant base as well while he's start rifting out.
Yeah, Celery just got a gem.
Having fun.
So a gem on the Grimstroke, the squishy hero, but he's not really dying this game. Drow with a 302 start is now 555.
And again, look at the level difference now. He actually didn't take the reality rift talent. He took the phantasm duration as well.
Yeah. At least they can kill. At least they can kill the Rubik, but they do end up losing Ench at the same time.
Oh dear.
Honestly, I think where I saw that when you use reality rift, you can actually pull your illusions off cliffs and stuff. This would definitely be an RTZ hero. Just saying.
Oh my god, look at the illusions.
Sunstrike into the pit.
Invoker's Sunstriking in the pit and he's like, what is happening?
Yeah, like, this is an epilepsy warning for someone watching right now that showcase view. You can see that Roche is taking so many crits in the face. They are going to contest this though. Tornado, Shat just got the Aegis just in time, the Grim ulti, but there's a bit of distance between Seiyu and Sunlight, so they won't actually catch both of them.
He lost all his mana though.
Invo is away. Seiyu gets caught though. And Sunlight is coming back. Maybe they can kill Aramis here with the burst of their spells, just waiting for them to come back off cooldown. And Rubik, very low on HP, gets the Glimmer Cape on time. Seiyu, Sunstrike. On the money.
Wow!
I love Aramis, by the way. In these games where Viking are like owning and he starts doing like silly things, his voice track game is amazing.
Yeah, that was, yeah. Well, they're going high ground.
You should
3 seconds for Phantasm. Like, this Phantasm seems to be off cooldown the whole time. 75 seconds is not really a long time. And now they've got their creeps. He's got no mana. They're still going to go through it nevertheless. For some reason, I need to unbind this fantasy points button on my keyboard.
Does it keep coming up all the time?
Yeah, not all the time, but this time I actually realized that it's on.
Phantasm coming, maybe?
Yeah, I think he's just going to wait for it. I mean, he can technically hold on to it. He could die with this Aegis on and then use it. It's like, he's going to die for a first time. 4,500 HP down. Now do the same thing.
Right, here we go.
Can you do it twice? Round number 2 about to kick off. And... oh, hell no. Whoa, it's the call. Lightless getting stunned up, and he's down. Celery snipes him with a stroke of fate. Shad, he's still moving around, waiting to get to that Enchantress, and oh boy, Bombi's getting slapped tonight. Oop, that's a nice Cataclysm, but it's not really doing enough damage. Damage output is real when your Drow is down. And Empire are living the last seconds of their game here. So many heroes down. Buybacks coming in. Viking GG still feeling it, even though they are running low on resources. Toby's still full on HP and full on mana. They haven't actually finished off the mid-racks yet. 500 HP to go. Ignart. Just gone. Another tornado doesn't connect on anyone. Viking GG still keeping up the pressure. They could still stay if they wanted to. Drow's coming up in 6 seconds.
I mean, Phantasm was up again in 25 seconds.
Spells are available too.
Chad's just vibing in the base. Look, it's just not even hitting anything.
No more cooldowns. There's a BKB on Boom. Trying to bait them. Still got Yules. Other toss on Seiyu. Tiny cannot withstand the damage coming into his face. 73 seconds gone. Viking GG are looking for those 2 letters from Empire. They're not giving up yet. 3 versus 5. 3 versus 5 in a hopeless situation with the tier 4 towers falling slowly to Shad. Celery following up on that bit of right-clicking damage there too. Lightless is just waiting. When do I predict this silence? When do I throw it out? Boom is coming back in. Another Alacrity on the Drow. Aramis looking for the long-range lift. There's the ulti from Grimstroke. We've got Sunlight and Lightless. It is only about to become darkness here for Empire. Lightless is pushed out. He doesn't even get to use his Hurricane Pike back to the fountain. And it's GG. Viking take it 2-0.
Oh my god. Better than Motor good. Yeah, this game... I know, yeah, it looked okay for... I was going to say Omega because that was Sunlight's tag, but it looks okay for Empire for a little while. But again, the CK is just free farming the whole game.
Yeah.
And even though they're winning in terms of kills and things, the net worth was always like under 1k. It felt like the advantage that they had. So they could never really push for the advantage. They had so much wave clear on the dire side again. Grimstroke, Rubik, Underlord. So they want to constantly shove waves in on Empire to take towers. When the waves are like keep coming back the other way, they have to deal with the waves first. And like who clears waves on Empire's side again? It felt very much like last game. Like Tiny can if he uses spells. Beastmaster's okay, but it's not quick. And Drow can with multi-shot as well, but it's so slow. When you want to be playing this fast tempo game, if your waves are constantly being shoved in back the other way, you're not really gaining an advantage in the game. So I expected Viking to win this series. Empire played at least a little bit better in game 2. They gave themselves, you know, this window in the game where they were strong, but this 10th pick CK was just too much to deal with.
I feel like Empire's early game was actually a lot more enjoyable to watch compared to game number 1, so they definitely stepped up their game a little bit. And oh, Kyle. So if you look at the damage output, it was actually Invoker with 26k and Drow with 15. Support Tiny 11.7. So even Drow couldn't dish out enough damage. Drow never got to build those big damage items either. So I don't know, was the Midas Invoker the right call? I think it was like for his perspective, for his game, how much he can contribute to his team, not being a solo player, but for the team. But still something that just looks like it's either gameplay-wise or just brain-wise too greedy.
I understand what you're saying, but I think they're stuck in a really difficult position where if the Invoker doesn't scale, then come to this point in the game that they are at then, they're going to be even further behind.
Yeah, that's very true.
I don't think they could end the game. And I think he decided to build Midas when he realized that they didn't have that capability to win the game at the timing that they wanted. So it wasn't, again, I don't think it was something he came into the game wanting to build. It's just that's the way it happened to go.
You just got to adapt. Yeah. Adapt into situations. But then again, Viking GG 2-0 in our first series. And we're going to head over to a tiny break as we head to our second series of the day. And if I looked correctly, it will be Hellraisers versus Team Empire. So Empire, they get themselves a chance to redeem themselves from this previous loss. However, catch you guys in a few more minutes. Hopefully you enjoyed this first cast. It's my first cast in like 1.5 months. So you're going to hear a lot more from us two in just a tiny bit.